Hi everyone, Anthony here, Northamptonshire luxury property expert, and today I'm meeting with Ian Humphries, who is the founder of Brickflow, which is a groundbreaking commercial finance comparison site. It searches for you, it finds you everything. It does weeks and weeks of research for commercial development funding, literally in minutes. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you for the intro.
Oh, pleasure. I mean, I'm quite excited about this because I've had time to have a little play with it. I mean, in past experience, the commercial mortgage side, it just seems to be either two speeds, either dead slow or stop. It just takes weeks from inception to finding the person you need to speak to getting an application, to getting declined, to moving on to the next one. So how does this work, and and how's it benefiting developers?
Yeah, okay. So as you touched on there, just to be clear, it is for development finance only. So what we've tried to do is the people behind it, myself and the other founders, we've got decades of experience working in commercial property and development finance. And we know that the current system is broken. So if you speak to anyone really in the industry, lenders, borrowers, agents, brokers, everyone accepts that the current system is terribly inefficient and is in desperate need of overhaul. So what we've tried to do is bring together our sort of experience and then also taken technology from other industries and tried to apply it in the development space. So we essentially are showing a comparison site technology for development finance, which doesn't exist anywhere in the UK and as far as we can see in the world at the moment. So you can search for loans and apply for loans online, and it brings that whole process down from weeks and months to minutes.
Well, having seen it and gone through the process, obviously this development finance side, it's far more complicated than, say, a residential mortgage comparison, which is often loan to value. Is your income enough? This is what you can get subject to status. For example, you've got so many variables, whether it's land, whether it's redevelopment, whether it's whether it's refurbishment, whatever the case may be, contingency allowance, and so on. I mean, how much work did it take to put all this together? I mean, it must have been a colossal amount of effort.
Well, you could say that it's been 15 or so years because it's kind of all of our experience, or my experience, and then the other guys as well. So you could say it's been 30 years in the making. But the reality is we started talking about it a little over 3 years ago, and that is really since then we've worked pretty solidly on bringing it all together. As you touched on, there's more variables than you can shake a stick at. So we've spent pretty much 3 years solidly working on it. The maths behind it is incredibly complicated, as you can probably appreciate. But we're happy with the end product. We want to get better. We will get better. But it's about people using it, participating, and giving us good feedback. That's what's been really good so far, is both lenders and borrowers are giving us really good feedback. So we're just constantly improving.
It just seems to, how long is it since you actually launched it?
So we officially launched 3 months ago.
3 months ago, because any website
just before COVID.
because any website I've put together, it's sort of 3-4 weeks creating it, 3-4 months debugging it. I don't know why. There's always gremlins and things appear from nowhere.
The testing is the longest thing.
Yes, definitely, it always is. But it seems to run absolutely perfectly. And sort of
there are bugs.
You ran me through. Sorry.
There are bugs. We do keep finding things from time to time. If anyone uses it and finds one, please just email me.
It seemed okay when I tried it anyway, but it performed perfectly, especially, as I said, for the variables that it goes through. with the type of project and, funding costs and land costs and building costs and so on and so on and so on. There's a lot of formulas working together there, and for them to be working so well, it's quite credit to the programmer.
Yeah, no, they've done a fantastic job. That's my co-founder, Robert. But I mean, basically, the essence of this is that when we were speaking to lenders about putting this together, and it depended who you spoke to, but the vast majority were saying it would take they would get between 10 to 30 applications, inquiries, and it was only from that between 10 and 30 they're only sanctioning one loan. So if you think about the huge inefficiencies that a lender has on their side, so and about 50% of those inquiries would disappear if people knew their criteria. So we spoke to a lender actually just today. They had 250 inquiries in May, and they said probably 200 of them shouldn't have ever come to them, because they what the borrower wants and what they can offer are just completely incompatible. But they still have to go through that process of underwriting and understanding those 250 deals. So what the platform does is it basically matches borrowers' requirements with lenders' offerings, and there's an algorithm that works between the two. And so what happens is that actually the list of lenders you get are lenders that meet what you want, and so you don't waste this weeks and weeks of time of speaking to 20 different lenders, of which 19 can't do what you want. You get the one that you want straight away. So it is a huge time saver for borrowers, but for lenders as well. And that's why we've got the goodwill that we have with lenders, because they're as frustrated by the development finance industry as borrowers are. And I think we all if this is successful, then it actually benefits all stakeholders. So brokers, agents, borrowers, lenders, and even Joe Public, because ultimately the reason that we have a shortage of housing in the UK, or one of the primary reasons, is because the finance is so difficult to get. If we make finance easier to obtain or more efficient, then we'll build more houses, which is for everyone's benefit.
Well, I mean, obviously the lenders must be very happy about it, because you're filtering out 80 or 90% of their non-starters. The borrowers must be happy because you're helping filtering out not 80 or 90% of people who would not be able to help them. So everybody benefits, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's better for both sides. It's quicker, it's more efficient, and it also opens people's eyes to opportunities that perhaps they wouldn't have seen otherwise. I think a lot of developers come onto the platform and are surprised by sometimes how little equity they need to mobilise sites. So what we tend to find is people come on, they look for lending options on a particular site, and then they actually understand that they could probably do a site 50% bigger or 100% bigger, which is better for developers, because ultimately you only have a finite amount of time in life to build these things. And if you can build something that's twice the size in the same timeline with double the profit on the same amount of equity, it means that you can get to a bigger scale and become more successful quicker. So it's an enablement tool as well.
So in summary, this site takes you from what your project is, i.e. if you've bought land, what your land costs are, what your building costs are anticipated to be, your contingency, any extras, the length of period of the loan, which will be a rolled up loan, for example, your exit strategy, most cases sale. It then goes through and asks you for your past experience, past developments, all the information that it actually needs to be able to sort of place your application if it is indeed placeable, and remove all of the lenders that would not be able to help you, so that you can go straight to the ones that you're in with a chance. Have I missed anything? I think that's everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a two-stage process. So the first stage is the initial search. That's taking the lender's criteria and the borrower's requirements and matching them. Okay. You then select a lender that you wish to move forward with. So that would be, and what we do on the software quite nicely is show, all the anticipated costs, but also deposit you'll need to put in and the profit that you stand to make, all things being equal. Then once you make that application, we ask for development experience, and then a sort of fuller development appraisal and your property schedule. And it's these three things really that a lender is making their decisions on initially. So that will then go to the lender. So that's sent securely to lender. They can view that information. And I think, one of the biggest things for lenders is that they're used to receiving a development inquiry, and it might be on 20 different emails, presented very badly, different email attachments. And the thought for them of having to wade through all that information, realise there's an error in the spreadsheet with formula and have to recalculate all of that, then go back to the person that's introduced it, perhaps the developer, and say, look, I'm missing this information. And that might take them a day, but actually broken up over a whole week before they can actually say yes or no. Whereas what our system does is it gives them the same information in the same format every time. So the sort of feedback we're getting is actually they can look at one of our applications and within 30 to 45 minutes, go through, make sure it checks all their boxes, ask a couple more questions perhaps, and then issue a term sheet very quickly after that. So if you think we're all human, if you've got 20 applications sitting in your inbox and you've got one from us which is very well presented and you're going to have all the answers that you want, versus 19 that are going to take you the best part of a couple of weeks to get your head around, you're going to default to the one that saves you most time. So I think that's what I was talking about earlier with the goodwill that we have with lenders is, they're very supportive because they understand what we're trying to do is make their lives easier. So it's that two stages, search and then make the sort of proper presentation of the information that lenders like, and then they'll come back with a final offer. Sometimes it will be different to what was on the first screen because there will be other things that come out during that second stage. But we always like to think it's going to be pretty close to the original quote. And then if the client's happy with that, then we make the application through the platform, and that's it. Everything then is done digitally and it can be managed through the platform.
Okay. Well, before we go, to any developers of whatever size who are out there looking to finance their next project, what would you say to them?
I'd just say take a look at what we're up to. We are really trying to change the status quo. I've been in the industry for nearly 20 years, and doing a development finance application is no different to how it was 20 years ago. And the industry must be the last to be touched by technology. And we just think it really is for everyone's benefit, that something like this is successful, because we will build more houses. We will get rid of the shortage that we have, and it will just make everyone's lives much easier. We've condensed what is normally a sort of 6-8 week process of searching for a lender and making an application, which, if you do it correctly on the system, can be done in about half an hour. So it really is a huge time saver.
Excellent. I mean, it's about time that there were advances made in this, because as I said to you when I spoke to you the other day, the financial services industry is the one industry where people are actually penalised for trying to get the better deal, because certainly with residential, you make an application, there's a footprint on your credit file that can be used against you in the future, which doesn't make sense in an age where competition should be king. So this is a huge step in the right direction, and
Thank you.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. If you've got any questions about this whatsoever, you're welcome to either message Ian directly or message me directly or post in the comments, and I'm sure Ian will be happy to come back and speak to us again if there's anything specific that needs to be addressed. And thank you, Ian, for joining me.
Yeah, no problem, Angie. Thanks for asking me to participate. It's been a pleasure.
And good luck with everything on your website, and I'll speak to you soon.
Brilliant. Cheers, Anthony. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.